In our last video, we introduced TFSAs and RRSPs with some examples on how they work.
In this video, we'll get into the more specifics into the differences of the TFSA and RRSP, their contribution rooms, and some extra features like the home buyers plan, lifelong learning plan, and give the insights on when to use your TFSA or RRSP.
First, before we start, we think it's important you go over our previous videos explaining the fundamentals of the TFSA and RRSP. You can find them by going over to our cards right over there or in the description below.
Let's do a quick recap. Let's follow the life cycle of an RRSP. Let's say your annual salary is $30,000 and your marginal tax rate is 20%. If you put $5,000 in your RRSP, you will save $1,000 on taxes since you're now getting taxed at your salary minus your RRSP contribution. You will get this return in the form of a tax refund. When you're ready to withdraw from your RRSP, you will get taxed again. More specifically, you will be taxed at your salary plus your RRSP withdrawal.
Now you're probably wondering, what's the point of all this when I get taxed when I withdraw my money anyway? In case you didn't know, we have different tax brackets in Canada based on your income. The gist of it is, the higher your income is, the more taxes you pay. The lower your income is, the lower taxes you pay. And the idea of an RRSP is you want to withdraw when you're taxed at a lower tax bracket. Essentially, the RRSP is considered more of a tax deferral vehicle. Now, if we go over the TFSA lifecycle, things get a little bit different. Again, let's consider the scenario where your total salary is $30,000 and you have a marginal tax rate of 20%. If you put in $5,000 in your TFSA, you won't get that tax refund of $1,000 unlike the RRSP. But what's also different is that when you're ready to withdraw, it's completely tax-free.
Contribution rooms are important to understand because if you over-contribute, you will get penalized in taxes. Let's go over the RRSP contribution room. Assuming you're not a public servant and you don't have any pensions, you will have 18% of your previous year's income available for you to contribute. Please note that there is a maximum contribution room of $26,230 for all you baller millennials. But once you withdraw, you never get that contribution back ever again.
If we go over the TFSA contribution room for 2018, assuming you were 18 back in 2009, the maximum contribution room for your TFSA is $57,500. In general, this is a fixed increment every year of $5,500, but that can change depending on which government is in charge or if they decide to change the rules a bit. If you decide to take out money out of your TFSA, you'll get back the equivalent amount you withdrew back in January 1st of next year, plus the new contribution for that year. Again, the easiest way to find out your contribution room is by logging into your MyCRA account for your RRSP and TFSA contribution room.
The RRSP has two unique features we mentioned before, the home buyers plan and the lifelong learning plan. The way both of these work is essentially that you take out a loan from your RRSP, but the government expects you to pay it back.
With the home buyers plan, you're allowed to take out $25,000 from your RRSP for your first home, and you have to pay it back gradually within the next 15 years. If you're a couple, you can double that to $50,000.
The lifelong learning plan works very similarly. You can take out a loan from your RRSP for $10,000 a year up to a maximum of $20,000 for you or your spouse for a qualified full-time educational program. Instead of 15 years like the home buyers plan, you have 10 years to repay the loan you took out of your RRSP.
So you're probably wondering why I should use my RRSP for the home buyers plan or lifelong learning plan when I'm just loaning from myself anyway. This is where your financial planning comes to play. Let's step back a bit and let's say you know you want to buy a home within 10 years. Because you had some foresight, you were able to defer $25,000 worth of taxable income from those previous years, and you now have access to an interest-free $25,000 loan from yourself without being taxed at withdrawal.
The TFSA and the RRSP are both great ways to hold investments, but which one of them should you choose? Everyone has their own circumstances and goals, and it's worth researching and weighing out your options.
If you must, we would even go as far as saying to hire a fee-only advisor, which will look closely at your situation and will work with your best interest in mind. They do this because A, you're paying them, so it's to their advantage to keep you as a loyal customer, and B, they don't have to meet any sales quotas, so they're not pressured to sell you something you don't need.
But in our opinion, we believe that if you're just starting out with investing or just learning how to save, TFSAs are absolutely the best way to go as it's more flexible than the RRSP. And keep in mind, just because it doesn't have the word retirement in it, it doesn't mean you cannot use it as a retirement savings vehicle.
One thing worth mentioning though is that some employers will match a portion of your income and contribute to your RRSP. And in this case, we would absolutely suggest considering taking advantage of this. It's essentially free money that you're getting.
Do you prefer the RRSP or the TFSA? Let us know in the comments below on why you prefer one over the other.
We release new videos every week on Canadian personal finance, so don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to get the latest updates.